Hello YouTube watch lovers and welcome to this video. This is actually quite delayed because I promised to submit this episode last weekend, but this is the third version of this video. I'm just not particularly happy with the previous versions. So to start the actual thing, this is about the Grand Seiko GMT SBGM221 and my experience with the watch, which is actually very fortunate for myself. I have to say the most important thing is that I set it up last Thursday and it is still within 20 seconds of the original time that I've set it up for. So this is the chronometer performance that I'm expecting from my watches, and really this one is ready to go for the on-the-wrist experience evaluation versus the Rolex Explorer and the Omega Seamaster, which I'm going to do over the next couple of weeks, and maybe submit another video in the 2 weeks time. Okay, so Grand Seiko. And I have this particular problem with appreciating the brand name, considering Seiko, because I have an enormous experience with Seiko watches. I cannot afford but thinking that these watches have direct relation to the Grand Seikos, and why do I have to pay over 10 times the price of a real Seiko, of a usual Seiko, when buying a Grand Seiko watch? Why not just go for the baby snowflake, the Sarks 055? Why spend so much on a Grand Seiko watch? So really, is there much difference in having a Grand Seiko and the Seiko watch? And I need to show these ones. I no longer consider them as an important part of my collection. I'm no longer talking about these Seikos, but it's been a long period of my life. I've been wearing Seiko watches for over 2 decades, and prior to discovery of the luxury Swiss and luxury Japan-made watches. So I'm gonna show you these watches. I no longer consider them as part of my important watch collection, but I spent a long time wearing them. So probably my watch tastes come out from wearing these Seiko Kinetics, and this watch has been with me for over 10 years probably. You can see that this bracelet really needs cleaning, but perfect timekeeping, perfect. Just put it on, wear it through the day while the capacitor lasted. This was just perfect for me. The same thing with this Kinetic Artura watch, which was my first attempt at buying something looking sporty, but still in the Seiko range. This watch with retrograde day display, I really liked it. I really thought that this was all that I needed for a very long time, that this watch spent on my wrist. Once again, the capacitor stopped storing enough power for this watch to last overnight, and this is when it lost its appeal to me, because I needed a watch that could be worn daily, go on the bed stool through the night and go back on your wrist and just perform perfectly. No need for time adjustment. So these are the two Seiko Kinetics, and I'm really thinking about restoring the Artura to its best possible state, because I remember liking this watch, liking wearing it, being really satisfied with the performance of the watch. Need to get it back into the working order, so this means finding the capacitor and maybe doing the replacement job myself, because sending it for servicing in Seiko probably would equal buying a new kinetic watch. Well, not that I want to buy a new one. I want to restore my Arctura to the best possible state, so could consider servicing it. I bought it here in Belfast, and it seemed like paid a fortune. Here it's in Ernest Jones, and I paid £425 for this watch. So that was, in its own time, it was the biggest value watch, and probably prepared me for going for the really good ones, for the chronograph. The Tag Heuer chronograph was the substitute for this Grand Seiko, and what really started this craze with buying super expensive watches. So I also really want to show you the automatic Seiko, and what I think is my experience with Seiko watches. What is the basic problem, why I'm struggling with appreciating the Seiko brand, or in this case Grand Seiko, for what it really is. So I really wanted to show you my turtle, my Seiko diver. I'm still really in love with this watch. I think it's really good fun. I'll take off my Grand Seiko, I'll put it back once I'm done with showing you the turtle. I think this watch is just fun on the wrist, like it really think that the sunburst blue dial, the Pepsi bezel, the fact that I would wear this for a real swim. I would wear this as a fun watch. It is big. It is 45 to 46 millimeter, the case diameter. It is pretty thick compared to most of the watches that I've shown you. But it's a sports, real fun watch, and it sits really comfortable despite its big dimensions. It sits very well on the wrist. It seems that Seiko spent all their funds on developing this watch, on putting it in the right shape, making sure that it sits very nice on the wrist, and just putting very little into the production of the watch. Because well, I will try to compare the two watches side by side. The polishing on the case, the finishing on the Grand Seiko is like a completely different brand. It's like a completely different watch to the turtle. So the turtle is great fun. Where it really fails is in the timekeeping, because it runs about 13 seconds fast per day. And I remember really having to find out that my watch is 2 minutes too fast, and having to subtract 2 minutes from the actual time reading that I was doing. It's not something you want to do with your watch. You want your watch to show reliable time, and this is where the turtle, although total fun, really like this watch. Really like it for just throw on the wrist, wear it through the day, and forget that it's not particularly, well, my weekend watch example. So like it, but need something really different. Need the performance of the Seiko Kinetics, but in an automatic watch. Need the performance of that I got used to for the years of wearing the quartz watches, but really wanted to be a micro machine. Really wanted to be like the Grand Seiko. So what I have to say immediately is that these are like two completely different brands. So association through the name Seiko, you just have to avoid it. You just have to think about this as a completely different level watch on the same grade as the Rolexes or the Omegas of this world, as the most desirable watches, because the level of finish of this watch is brilliant. I like it. I like the experience of wearing the Grand Seiko on my wrist. So I will get rid of the Seiko boxes and I will come round and talk about the Grand Seiko in the second part of this video. So just in a sec. Hello and welcome to the second part of this video, where I will be talking about the choice of the Grand Seiko model for my first trials of the Grand Seiko brand, and probably the better deal to buy this watch, and some of my observations from the couple of days on the wrist that I had with the SBGM221. So first of all, why this GMT Grand Seiko? And these are the pictures of the watch that I tried on in the Pride and Pinion, the Nico Leonard watch dealership here in Belfast. What I felt is this was the right watch for me, and what I'm showing to you now is the Hodinkee limited edition, the watch that was released in 2020, and well, there were only 500 released in limited edition, so it's only available for the US market, and the prices here in the UK are really high for this watch. I don't really want to put on the price. You know, Pride and Pinion sold this watch. I wish they had more Grand Seikos, but generally Grand Seiko is not retailed by anyone here in Belfast apart from Watches of Switzerland and Goldsmith, Mappin Web, and this is their best offer for a SBGM221. I'm showing this to you as the reference on what it would cost if you're overpaying for the watch. So on Chrono24 you can get an SBGM221 seriously for a seriously lower amount of money, and this is probably the best deal that I've seen in the United Kingdom. This is from Watches of Mayfair, and this is a much more reasonable price for a new watch than what you would pay in Watches of Switzerland. But still I will show you that I made a better deal buying this from a Japanese vendor. And here is the watch, the advertisement for the watch that I really chose to buy. So this Miran Japan company gives a very good offers for Seikos, Grand Seikos. The Japanese domestic market watches, can really recommend them. I bought the watch for, I'm giving you the original price which I paid on Chrono24 plus the customs, well, the VAT and the customs tax which I paid for this watch delivered to my place. So you can see that this beats the offer from Watches of Mayfair. It is by far better value, and you've seen the unboxing that I did for the watch on its arrival. It arrived with everything, with the box, papers, absolutely new watch. I was very glad with not overpaying for it, really finding a good deal for the SBGM221. But still, it is a lot of money. It is a lot of money. Is this watch actually worth that amount of pounds, of British pounds? Can it stand against the the Rolexes, the Omegas. So timekeeping is very good. The finish on the watch is exquisite. I really like these highly polished, these Zeratsu polished watch case. I really like the way this watch feels on the wrist. So the diameter is 39.5 millimeters. The case height with the sapphire is 14 millimeters, but you can see that this is a very boxed sapphire. At least 2 millimeters of these 14 are due to the height of the sapphire crystal, and this is not something that you feel on the wrist. You do feel the thickness of the case, but the case is so good, is so well polished, is so well designed and well proportioned. So the lug to lug distance, probably the most important for the everyday wear of the watch. So the lug to lug distance of this Grand Seiko is 46 millimeters. So you can see with the bent lugs that it sits very, very well on my wrist, and the watch feels very comfortable. Really want to try wearing it on the bracelet, but this is the next step to come. The Forstner Beads of Rice bracelet fits this watch very well, and this is what I will try in the close future. So at the moment, enjoying it, enjoying the watch. Can really recommend this as a Grand Seiko to everyone, as a GMT watch, as more kind of dressy type of watch, especially on the leather strap. The leather strap is fantastic, probably one of my best alligator rectangular scale watch straps. Really like it. I'm struggling with keeping the watch in the center of my frame. So what I especially enjoy about this watch is the high polish of the hour markers and the watch hands. This is unlike any other watch as I had in my possession so far. You need just the dimmest source of light in the room for these hour markers to light up, and you can read the time even in the dusk of the early morning or late in the afternoon. You obviously cannot see this watch. There is no lume on the dial, so in dark room, in just perfectly dark room, you wouldn't be able to read the time. But it's enough to have the laptop lighting up the room from about 10 feet away from this watch to be able to really see the hour markers, really see the watch hands, and being able to read the time. And obviously the fact that after 4 days it is still within half a minute for the original time setting, this means the watch has perfect timekeeping. And although my camera is not made for these close-ups on the movement, this is one of the best decorated movements you could actually come across in a watch that is below a really well crafted, handcrafted timepiece from Switzerland. So my experience so far is very positive on the Grand Seiko, and now I'm gonna do the day by day, change this with the Rolex Explorer, with the Omega Seamaster, and see whether this watch stands up to the other great Swiss brands. Whether the Japanese made watch stands up to the properly Swiss made timepieces. Okay, thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe to my channel. If you want to see the comparison video, you can subscribe and then press the notification bell. Please participate in the channel, submit comments, and I will probably think about doing another giveaway of a watch or watch fairly soon on my channel, please like and subscribe, and see you in the next one. Bye.